Thank you. My name is Blake Walker. I've been playing tackle football since the age of 8 years old, and I stopped about a month before my 24th birthday. I've suffered. They think about 100+ concussions, which is kind of undetermined to tell. I feel like I grew up a little bit neurodivergent, and so if I got a concussion, if I was acting a little bit goofy anyway, it was just like, that's a typical day in Blake's life. So I played through middle school. Since I was 8, played in middle school. I played both directions, linebacker, fullback, which are kind of the heaviest hitting or taking hit positions on the field. Played through high school, same thing. Multiple concussions. Concussions started early. I remember, having massive headaches at a young age when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and it would just stick with you sometimes through the next day or to the next practice, where you just put that helmet on and started whacking your head against the next person. So, and that was back in I started, I want to say it was 1990. And so that was back when it was just a piece of plastic with, a little bit of padding in there. And if you got hurt, walk it off, get back in the game and play. So I played through college. I actually started every game in my college career. Again, suffering a lot of different trauma, not only head trauma, but obviously to your entire body. So, but when you're an asset, like I was to that football team, a lot of times they don't want you to be injured. They're going to kind of look the other way if they know you've been, ringing people's bells all day long, making hard hits, and taking people out. I think I only remember getting taken out of maybe one game ever in college, and I can guarantee you I had a concussion every game. So I started hearing about CTE about 10 years ago, or 12 years ago, when it kind of started hitting mainstream. You didn't really hear a lot about it before that. And I started researching it and thought, I'm definitely going to be a candidate for this disease based on how I know I've lived my life in my career. So I've been in 3 car accidents. I've been in a Razor accident, which are those little four-wheel off-road 4-seaters that you can go off-roading in. I had a seatbelt, had the bolt actually snapped, and I was ejected into the roll bar head first. And so I remember being concussed for weeks after that. So I've had multiple head trauma. It started getting pretty bad about 5 years ago, where I started noticing the anger management started. My fuse grew shorter and shorter, as the years went on. My wife had to continually correct me about things, and it would frustrate me so much. I'm like, why are you constantly correcting me? She's like, because, you're wrong about this, or you forgot about this, or, you didn't do this. And it's like, I was constantly in frustration, which obviously played a huge, or put a huge divide, I'd say, in our marriage and in our relationship, because it almost seemed like I was just not fully there, or not caring, or doing it on purpose, and just not knowing why my anger management had taken off, And so there was a real eye opener, I would say, about 7 months ago. I actually went into somewhat of a catatonic state. I wasn't responsive, and so they ended up. I actually went to the hospital twice, and those are obviously wake-up calls that you're not indestructible, because that's how you feel, that's how you're taught, that's what you're bred to do when you're a football player, is to be rough and tough, to walk it off, and really not seek help, and just kind of barrel through life, because that's you could do it because you're a champion. But everyone, all my buddies, my teammates, they're all going to hit that point, whether it's early like me or in the next 10 years, and they're going to wish that they had started listening to forums like this. So I don't know what else you guys would want me to add. I brought a little show and tell for you guys today. This is my Hall of Fame medal from college. So this is what I have to show for all of my brain damage. So I wanted to say thank you. But I do want to bring humor to it, because we all deal with it. But if you can't laugh at it, you're not going to feel. So But
You know,
that kind of sums the majority of my story. So I've been on this journey for the last 6 7 months, really trying to get things right.
like what it's like you had said about being angry is a symptom for you. Do you find you had like memory or you have memory issues as well?
Yeah, and
And you,
a lot of yeah, I would forget to do things. I would forget what day it is. I would forget.
yeah,
I'm very, uh, like I said, a little bit neurodivergent, so I always place things in specific positions. I put it, you know, things have to be in the same place, or I'll forget them. I have to see it visually. I'll put things in my normal pathways to get the right thing, and I started leaving things in places I couldn't find them. And I was like, I'm hiding things from myself. I'm leaving my wallet
man.
at work. I'm leaving my keys to my house at work. I'm all these things that it was just pretty bizarre. Just the memory loss all the time. And it came to the point where I owned a car dealership for about 6.5 years, and
Hmm.
it was so hard for me to deal with customers because you want to give them that customer service, but a lot
Mhm.
of times it is that personal connection of remembering their name, remembering their stories they're telling you, so you can talk to them about that later and build up that rapport. And that I started losing that skill set, pretty rapidly. So I actually one of the main reason I got back onto Facebook was to start this kind of CTE, my journey, my post football. Um, oh man, I just forgot where I was going with that. So what were you
Um,
saying right before that? What were you talking about? Do you remember? It was to start adding friends or
yeah,
people that I could remember, because a lot of my memory went away, and I'm like,
okay.
I had core memories, and but I would go and people that I knew who they were, and I would have to ask my kids,
Right.
I'm like, hey, who is that? Who is that? And so I got back on Facebook to do this, and then also to reconnect. And anyone's
Yeah,
name I kind of remembered, or they looked kind of familiar, I'm just add them, because the more and more I could
yeah,
piece back together the relationships I had, then the memory starts to come back. It's kind of like you have to relearn, but then it comes back quicker with certain things,
yeah.
obviously. But it's a tool that's helped for me, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it is a useful way. But what you and I just had there a moment ago, it's like I have that with other brain injury friends. We could be talking along, and suddenly it's like, crap, or I'll just
Yeah.
think I have logorrhea, which comes from brain injury too, which is where you just talk. It's like diarrhea of the mouth. And
Mm.
we just some people with brain injury, especially frontal lobe injury, they either don't talk at all and you got to like push them to get them to talk, or they don't shut the hell up. Guess
Hmm.
which one I am. So they'll fill it in. It's like, why use one word and 500 will do? That's me. Um, but yeah, and like I have well, one of my hosts, Kate and I, like swim together. And she's like, you talk so much. It's like, but you and Kate both as athletes were, it's like understand. And me, I was a diver and swimmer. And all
Hmm.
of these are a risk because anytime your head takes a good hit, it gets a good shake. And even just a good shake causes shearing, torsion, distension, and does damage to white matter tract. Now, I describe myself more as a neuroscientist than as because it's like I don't practice. I didn't complete my PhD. I was like 2 semesters from getting it done in neuropsychology. But I still keep up to date, and I'm interested in continuing research and things. But what I really
Right.
want to do is help people most of all because I feel like I'm a healer. I also have my brain injury specialist and these other things. And, it's like, it's really about like what we could do to help one another. I always say that we brain injury survivors, most of all, we're a big old family, and it's like our job's to help each other out.